All right. Hello, everyone. This is Adise Boucher, the New Money Mama, and welcome to today's virtual roundtable. Can I really make money doing what I love? This is the main question that we get often. My goodness, you guys are wanting to know, I heard that the money will follow, but I'm doing what I love and it's not following me. It's following me out the door, I guess. Today, I want to introduce you to a couple experts that are awesome at getting entrepreneurs to align with their passion, the thing they enjoy, and their profits, the thing that's going to sustain them and grow their passions. First, I want to introduce you to Annette Mees. Annette Mees is the human design specialist, and she guides entrepreneurs to actually run their businesses and their lives in the way that's most sustaining for them, that's most in alignment with their natural human design. And then we have Chris Miles, who is a cash flow expert for entrepreneurs. He guides entrepreneurs to actually see where the money is leaking out and where they can actually maximize their energies. He's also bringing in some talent in regards to being able to spot what our resources and our values are that we can create more money. So to begin, I would like to have each of you just spend like a few seconds, tell me. Here's the first thing people are going to wonder. Okay, yeah, I know you guys can get paid for your passion, but not me. I've not been able to do that, or it's only happened once in a while. I'm just different than you guys. So if you guys can share a little bit of what you have found in your life when you were doubting whether you can get paid for your passions and what happened. What was the shift? So let's start with you, Chris.
Yeah, I just wanted to do this the whole time. Can I do something really quick?
Yeah. What?
Okay, that's it. Wait, that wasn't quite good enough. There we go. That's better. I want to sing like a song about about a man named Brady for some reason.
Yeah, he couldn't make it on the call today, so.
I can make my hair more curly if you want. So, yeah, let me kind of share my experience a little bit. When I first, got started as an entrepreneur, it was 14 years ago. I started as a financial advisor. And to be honest, I wasn't really doing it because I was passionate. The main reason I was doing it is because I wanted to have something that provided me freedom, provided me more control of my destiny than just simply working. But over time, what happened is that I started to realize I loved being an entrepreneur, and I especially loved helping people. And I found that when I found my gifts, the things that I was good at doing, and people loved that I was good at doing those things too, when those things aligned, then the passion really grew, and I realized, oh my goodness, this is good. And so when people started to love what I did, that's when I realized that money could follow very easily. I could teach ballroom dancing all day long, and I know I can make some money doing that, but I don't think I have enough passion in ballroom dancing to be able to want to weather the storms, to want to do those things necessary to make that successful. And so, yes, although I was one of the top national dancers, still I don't want to do that line of work. So I think passion is essential for you to want to weather those storms, to overcome those hurdles that you run into. Otherwise, you just won't stick with it. You won't make the money with it if you don't have enough passion for it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I love that. I want to touch on that later. So Annette, now share a little bit about your experience.
Well, I started out about 5 years ago following my passion, what I love doing. And the very thing that I taught was you have to love yourself in order for business to flow and in order for money to flow in. And then I was told by one of my coaches that wasn't enough. I needed to bring in marketing and sales. So I kind of sidestepped and went into frantically trying to figure out marketing and sales. I've always been really good at sales, but I didn't know how to teach it. So for 4 years, I ran around taking every marketing thing that I can do, and I got to do this and that, and trying to teach it when I didn't even really know it very well, but I was told that that's what I needed to do. And I quickly burned out. And I did bring my passion into it, which is really bringing God into your business, knowing yourself authentically. I did bring those in, but I was so focused on the marketing and sales that I ended up getting really sick. And it was exhausting doing this because, yes, I was passionate about it, but I needed to just separate the passion from all these other things that I was trying to do. So once I learned the human design in my blueprint in exactly the way that I'm designed to work or not work, it shifted my whole business, my whole life, my whole focus, and it made my life easier in every aspect of my life, so that now I am living my passion, but it's because I understand how I operate. And that, I think, is the key.
Yes, absolutely. If you understand how you operate, you will design your business, your marketing, your idea to support you.
Yeah.
And you want an idea to support you, because if you burn out, you're going to miss the growth in your business. You're going to be like, oh, the growth is a curse. I just want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
I can relate to this. So those of you who don't know me, if you're new to meeting me, so my name is Adise Boucher. I run a company called New Money Mama. I launched this company about 4 or 5 years ago, and I found that although I was having success in my business, I was also burning out. So Annette brings that up, burning out. And as I was burning out, I was getting very bitter. I was getting, I was sending out this message that I didn't want any more people to talk to me. And you know, clients are people. So it's not a good message to send out when you're trying to create income. I will tell you a little bit about my background, just briefly, is that I immigrated to the United States when I was 7 years old. We lived below the poverty line for many, many years, lived in a cockroach-infested apartment. I saw all around me in the neighborhood I lived in that people worked very hard, and they hated Mondays, because Monday was the day you had to go into work, and it wasn't anything that they wanted to do. So I'm very grateful, though. I had a visionary father who, even though he had 3 jobs of things he hated doing, it involved toxic chemicals, it involved cleaning, it involved a lot of sweat and hard work. He had this belief that it's possible, maybe just possible, that you could get paid doing something you actually enjoy, and you get excited to wake up in the morning. I won't go deep into his story here on this blog. We'll talk about it in other forums. But he showed me successfully he could get paid 7-figure income doing something he enjoyed. What did he enjoy? He loved being around people. He loved getting them excited. He loved teaching principles, like mindset principles. And you think that that's just like philosophy, just sitting around on a couch chatting with friends. But he found a way to take that passion and actually turn it into profits. So I want all of you who are listening, you who are listening and saying, you know, I am really passionate about what I'm doing. How do I turn it into money? All right. So where would you like to start, Chris?
You know, I would like to kind of dig deeper into that as well, because, you know, one thing I've realized with passion and kind of turn passion into profit, right? Because we hear do what you love and the money will follow, but that's not always true. I want to address that as well. Why does that not always work is the question I have for each of you. Because I know for me personally, I've run into a lot of people where they'll say, I'm doing what I love, but it's just not working. Like, it doesn't seem to be working well enough, or maybe I'm not, you know, rubbing my face the right way, or maybe I'm not doing something that works. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of people that just try to figure out, and they try new strategies and new techniques all the time. You know, what's your answer to someone like that says, I'm doing this, I feel like I am burning out? What would you guys say to that?
Well, Annette, would you like to answer that first?
Yeah, I think that it would be beneficial. I think the main thing that is key is to understand your blueprint. Because once you understand your blueprint, then you will understand that not everyone is made and designed to go out and make it happen. But we're all, 99% of us are taught that that's what we need to do, when only 9% of the population is actually designed to do that. The other 9% of the other 90% of the population is really designed to wait, and then they're designed to wait on certain things. And until you know that, you are going to be banging your head against the wall. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to be doing exactly, do I need to wipe my face differently? Do I, And then you're investing in all of these different marketing things and all these different how to make these sales and continuing to invest thinking that that's the answer. And the truth is you are the answer. Your design is the answer. You have been specifically designed to operate in that way. And that's the key.
Yes, and a lot of you are listening to her and thinking, okay, well, I'm being myself. We're just suggesting that there might be additional information about you that you haven't yet considered about how it's a strength in creating income. That's what we're suggesting. I do want to talk about it a little bit from the perspective of what my clients have come to me. And they have said, I shared with in a Periscope broadcast today about a client who was saying to me, it's like, maybe nobody needs what I have. Maybe my service isn't really wanted out in the marketplace. And after I chatted with her for a little bit, I realized that what was going on is that she equated her service and the results. She thought that the results were based on her service instead of understanding there were pieces missing on how she was sharing, telling people about her service. So, for example, let's talk about McDonald's. You guys have heard of McDonald's, right?
Once or twice.
Yeah, McDonald's is that place that sells billions of hamburgers. And they're these delectable gourmet burgers you can't find anywhere else. No, there are these crappy little cheap hamburgers, right? We don't even know where the meat comes from. It makes me sick to my stomach every time I've ingested one. My body wants to revolt and, expel it from my body, right? They're not the best burgers, but they are awesome at marketing. They know exactly who their market is, and they use the language that their market can relate to, right? So they're not trying to appeal to those who eat at 4- and 5-star dining establishments. They know who their market is, and it's kids. It's kids. And so all they need to do is just get these kids excited about, in the beginning, in the 80s, it was get the kids excited. And then now in the new millennium, it's about getting the convenience and, you're loving it, and you just move quickly, and you're with life, and you just eat quickly. So it's their marketing that has aligned them with profit.
I would add, sometimes, even I feel like sometimes people aren't listening. Like, I'm like, wait, am I really reaching out to people the way that I really want to? And the thing is, I've probably reached out to tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people that have heard my voice. But somehow I'm still thinking, maybe nobody even cares, nobody listens or whatever else, right? So be careful that it's not just you emotionally thinking that, because sometimes we want to hear validation, we want to receive it, and maybe people go quiet for a little bit, because the one person that might talk to you, there might be 100 more people that aren't telling you how much they appreciate the value that you're providing. And you have to remember that dollars follow value. Like, the more value you create for people, the more you can ask for dollars in return. And so really listen to your heart, like really listen to who you are and say, what I'm doing, is this really what I'm called to do? Is this what I'm here to help people do? And if you feel that's true, then stay with it. And I'll tell you, every time I've had some situation where someone said, where I've said even, boy, maybe nobody cares, usually within 24 hours, somebody tells me how much they care. Like, I remember it was just almost a year and a half ago. Like, I actually sent an email to people just saying, like, I quit and, that kind of thing. And of course, people opened it like crazy. And I just told them, I said, no, I'm not really quitting, but I feel like this sometimes. Like, I do feel like I want to quit my business sometimes, maybe, once every month or two. And it was funny. I sent that email, even posted on Facebook, and then I went to a convention, a big convention, and there was a guy staring at me. And I remember thinking, like, what is this guy looking at? It's kind of freaky that this guy is looking at me, because he just kept staring at me. It was almost leering. So I was about to sue him. But I didn't. And in any case, I wasn't going to sue him. Anyways, he came over to me. He said, "Are you Chris Miles?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You know what? I listen to your podcast like every day. I love your show. In fact, my wife loves you too. Hey, honey, come over here." And he brings his wife over, and she comes. And then they bring their whole network marketing team over. He's like, "Yeah, our upline loves you." And then I found out, like, oh, his upline saved like $18,000 in taxes. I'm like, "Oh, you're my client. Why didn't you tell me that? Like, what the heck?" And all of a sudden they have this like big group picture together of these people that said, "No, like, we don't want you to quit. Stick with it. Like, we love your stuff. Even if we're just listening, we really get a lot of value. Don't you dare quit." And I think that's important to remember too, is that when people feel like quitting, you know what? It's normal. That's normal to feel like that. And sometimes we get tested to the brink, to the point of almost breaking. But then when we keep pushing forward, we keep pressing forward, then things magically start to attract to us.
Mm-hmm. So let me just pause real quick because we've been mentioning some principles. I want to make sure those who are watching are leaving with some actionable items. So those of you who are taking notes, in your Word document or a notebook, however it is that you're taking notes on this call, the first thing, one of the things I mentioned, and I'm going to do a better job about pointing it out as we're talking about it. But one, when we talked about McDonald's, is they knew who their market was. So if you're finding that you're not getting the results for the product or service or passion that you're putting out there, make sure first, am I clear on who my customer is? And if you ever say that my customer is everyone, then that tells me you haven't really defined for who you solve problems, okay? So imagine the person who is ready for what you offer. And the way that they're ready is that they're excited. They've been looking for what you have. And two is they're ready to pay for what you have. So you want to imagine who's the type of person who's ready to pay and is excited about what I have. So define your avatar, your market. The second one is to be able to discern what is fact and what is inner voice. Chris mentioned that, he felt like even though he was talking to hundreds of thousands of people through his podcast, that nobody's listening. So whenever you are having those thoughts, ask yourself, is this my thoughts or is this true? And learn to discern, because our minds, our brains have an emotional core. There's a part of our brain that deals with all the emotions. And we have that part of our brain that deals with logic. And it's all inside this cranium. And sometimes we think, it's in my head, it must be true. You've got to find out, is it from data that you're viewing or is it from emotions that you're feeling? So discern what's inner voice and what's outer results. And then the third one was when Chris talked about quitting. I want each of you to know this. Well, let me ask the panel. Guys, have you ever felt like quitting?
Yeah.
Chris already admitted to it. Annette has. I have wanted to quit probably 6 to 7 times, which is pretty good. That's a small amount for an entrepreneur. So feeling like quitting, it just means that you've hit something that you don't know how to solve that problem immediately. And so the natural part of our brains, the survival part, wants to protect us from further pain. And it says quit, pull away from the fire, right? So be aware, right on your paper. The third thing is, wanting to quit is normal for successful entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's move on. We're talking, let's see, we have a lot of questions and I'm trying to think which ones would be the, okay. My spouse doesn't want to put a dime into my business. They're tired of investing in it. So I emotionally have no support. What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
Annette, what do you think?
He doesn't want to put a dime into it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have had that same issue with my husband. So what I would suggest is to go out and to start offering your services and get paid to do it. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what you do. If you want to earn money, here's the thing that I believe and trust in, is that whoever asked that question knows enough to get paid for something today.
That's
and
right.
So you can go find someone who needs what you know today. So that's what I would do. I think one of the things that might be in the background of what she's saying is that she's afraid to go out and just do it, because that would be the fear. I want my husband to support me and help me, so give me money. And so there's that, okay, that helps me. I have a little bit of a support here. But if it's on her own and her husband's not going to give her money, then now it becomes only focus on her. And the question is, I really have to go do this? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. I love it. Chris, did you want to pipe in on that?
Well, the experience of my husband, I'm just kidding. No, I would definitely say amen to what Annette had said as well. And I agree. I wonder how often we try to use that as a crutch mm-hmm. for why we're not succeeding, for why we don't want to step in that spotlight, because it is a very vulnerable place to be when you do that. When you start to really plant your flag and declare, this is what I'm going to do. This is who I'm going to be. That's a very vulnerable place to be. I mean, that's when my junior high school self all came out, and my insecurities and my pimples and everything, right? I mean, it's kind of horrible. And so, I get that. Like, don't let your spouse, the support of your spouse, stop you from living your dreams. And it's not your spouse's fault. And maybe your spouse has good reason. Maybe you haven't been doing a great job. Maybe he's been plugging thousands and tens of thousands of dollars into your life and your dream. Here's the thing. You do not need money, a whole lot of money at all, to start something. I mean, I know Adis and I were just talking about this the other day. I mean, sometimes people want to become consultants or coaches or mentors. A lot of times if you just want to start a business doing that, you take a sheet of paper, draw a line down the middle, you put one end of what you're offering, the other end what the price is, and then you go pre-sell it. You ask for it. I mean, it's not something you have to make complex. You don't have to have the perfect website, the perfect brand, the perfect logo. You don't need any of that crap. Like, seriously, I've launched so many businesses when I had no money that it's almost like, routine. It's almost amazing to launch a business when you have money. And so don't let money be the reason you can't do it. You don't need your husband's support. Just go and prove it, make it happen, and I guarantee he will want to jump on board. He'll want to be able to support you, say, hey, what else can you do? This is freaking awesome. So don't let that be the case. And also, if it's a boy or a man, I should say, a husband or whatever, like if he's trying to stop you, maybe it has nothing to do with your business. Maybe it's all has to do with him. So again, don't let that be the excuse.
So it's interesting. I read the question to be, my spouse doesn't want to put a dime in it, and both of you assumed it was a woman.
Yeah, you're right.
So this actually happens also with like male clients. That they have been pursuing businesses, and their wife was excited in the beginning, but they haven't been seeing the profit. Yep. They haven't seen the money, and now the wife is tired of all this money going to this business that she is just not seeing the money to support the family. That's a little scary. So it goes both ways, people. Yep. One of the things that, I'd like to touch on the things that both Annette and Chris have brought up here. Holy Hannah, who's giving us all that love? Is that you, Elkadi? Yeah? That's awesome. You're a loving man. Thank you. The first thing is that does it take money to make money? And that's a false belief that much of the public has about entrepreneurship. Now, if you are considering a business or you have a business, chances are you're starting to suspect that you think differently than other people. Well, welcome, because there is a whole land, a foreign land here for you to explore. And one of the first things that you will learn in this land is it does not take money to make money. It takes other resources. It takes resourcefulness to create money. I will say that I have started businesses with no money, basically creating ideas, offering them to people to see if they would pay money. Then they pay money, and then I deliver the product. I create and deliver the product. So this year, was it this year or last year? I was in a mastermind with a publisher. And one of the things he was proposing to all these business owners was for him to create a book for each of these business owners. Have you ever wanted to write a book? Okay, so these people, half of the room wanted to write a book, half of the other hadn't thought about it really. And this publisher had said, well, let's just design a book cover with the message that you find is most appealing in your story. I want to talk to you, find out what your story is. We'll create a book cover and come up with a title for what this book would be about. And then we start making the media rounds with you and this book. Well, book cover. Somebody said, well, what if the book's not done? He's like, the book doesn't have to be done. You just go out and do the interviews. Tell them what the book is going to be about. Set the publish date for a year from now. That will be the date that we release this book, and it's about this and that. We find out what the interest is. We find out how many people are willing to purchase it beforehand. And you can tell that part of the room was like, oh, how can you do that? But there was a part of me that was thinking, wait, I already do that. So if you have an idea and you're not sure if it's going to pay, test it out in the market. Don't say, hey, would you guys buy this? Just tell them, hey, I have this. I have a solution. It provides these benefits. This is how much it is. And this is how you order it. Then as the orders come in, that gives you the resources to start creating the program or the product or whatever it is. I think that now is common with crowdsourcing. But entrepreneurs have been doing this in a much less formal way for a long time. So can you truly make money doing what you love? Well, put some faith in you and put some faith out there. Create the value, create the benefits for people and see what happens. All right. Let's see. Let's talk about enrollment conversations. This came up as well. One of the main things that happens when a spouse is not on board or a friend is not on board is there hasn't been what we call an enrollment conversation. That is helping others to see the vision that we have so that they can be supportive in their own way. Now, before we jump into that, I want to make sure that you know some people just won't get on board no matter what you share. Mm-hmm. And that's okay, because all you're doing right now is sorting. Now, what happens if the person who's not on board is somebody close by? You know, maybe you sleep in the same bed. Maybe it's somebody who you really look up to. Let's address that part first. What do you do when you have an idea, you have a business, you have the passion, and you're seeing the fruits of your labor start to grow, but it hasn't really ripened? What do you do when the people around you aren't supportive?
Are you talking about the people in your family?
The people who you think are going to be your supports, whether it's your best friend, it's your mentor, it's your parents, it's your siblings, it's your spouse?
I'll start off.
Okay,
if you want me to, Annette.
Go ahead.
I've definitely had this experience when I first got into business. I had a lot of people telling me, Chris, you should go back to college, finish up college, and get your degree in sociology. That kind of stuff, right? And I knew that was not my path. I said, hey, listen, I get a sociology degree, then what? Like, you guys want me to do the status quo, but is that really going to do me any good? Is that really going to give me the life that I want? And so, honestly, like, I didn't have to enroll people. I just said, fine, I appreciate your opinion, and then I just go and do it anyways. I think that's what's important. You don't have to enroll everybody. I mean, it's important to be able to say, this is the choice I have. I feel very prompted to do this. I feel like this is what I'm called to do. Thank you for your opinion, but I'm going to keep moving forward. And you might say that's going to be the people closest to you. The people that aren't close to you, just smile and just keep moving on. Word of warning, though, do not do it out of trying to prove something. The first time I really hit money big, I was trying to prove something to people. I was trying to show people like, I did it, neener, right? That kind of stuff. So I didn't, that was not the best thing to do. Not the best way to go about it, because there's a lot of pride and ego there. Mm-hmm. But to just go and just say, great, thank you, smile, and just quietly move on your way and make it happen. I know Napoleon Hill in the book Think and Grow Rich, he says that you only share your deepest dreams with those in your close mastermind. You don't share it with the people around you in your life necessarily. It's the people that are your mastermind, the people that are playing at your level. You share it with them, not necessarily with other people around you.
Mm-hmm. I want to say that I used to be one of those doubters. So when my father was trying to get us out of poverty, and he had these ideas, he said, one day we're going to be rich. And I'm looking at the cockroaches, and I'm looking at the repossessions, and I'm looking at the utilities being shut off. I thought, how the heck is that going to happen? And as he pursued more and more ideas, he's like, I have this idea, but it's going to take some time, and I need to talk to people. And this was back when you had to pay for every single minute of long-distance phone calls. And so there were times when he would rack up an $800 phone bill pursuing a dream, a passion. And I was a doubter, his own daughter, who we used to be buds. Like, I used to be daddy's little girl. We liked the same foods. We stayed up watching the same shows. That was my daddy, right? And as I got older, I was like, Dad, why don't you get a real job? You are making our family worse and worse. You are bringing us deeper in the hole. And it's so embarrassing coming home and the phone's disconnected when I told friends to call me. And that's so embarrassing. And I was the doubter. So I can speak from that perspective. Of course, as I got older, I found that I just could not fight this entrepreneurial bug that flows through our DNA, that comes through my family tree. And as I started building a business, well, I've had several businesses. As I started building businesses in the beginning, I had some of the people who I loved and respected the most say the same thing to me. You're making things worse. Why don't you just get a real job? Why don't you get your head out of the sky? Why don't you stop following silly dreams? I have come to the reality that we don't get everything we want and we dream, right? And it didn't like snap me out of my head and go, oh, they're right. Okay, I'll just go get a job, you know? For me, I had to honor what that deep calling was. Mm-hmm. And that's when I realized, wow, this is what it feels like to actually break out of what is expected in society. There will be opposition. And sometimes it'll be from strangers, and sometimes it'll be from loved ones. And so I hope that you will be kind and compassionate when others are criticizing you, and accept that it will hurt. Go cry, you know, go throw ice at a fence. That's what I teach my kids to do when they're angry. Express that in a way you need to do it on your own, right? But then hold those other people, the critics, and just compassion. It's like, oh, they don't know any better, or they give up on their dreams, and so I can see why they feel that way, or they just don't have the same vision I have, and the endurance or the passion. So I can't blame them for feeling that way. They don't have that same drive I do. And so it's not to condemn them, but just to learn to see them with compassion. And this will be so vital in your business to be able to talk. It's going to give you training on how to talk to your customers in the future, because you will have some difficult customers, and you will have some dependent customers, and you'll have wonderful customers, and you will have to learn how to deal with them all in those situations. So let's just pause for a second. We have a few people on the line. We've had 31 visitors come through. There's 15 people actively on here. Guys, if you are listening on here, type on the right side of the question box. Gil, thanks for tweeting about this blab. We sure appreciate that. If you guys, what kind of questions are coming up for you as you are creating or attempting to create new income through ideas, passions, businesses? What questions, what concerns are coming up for you? Make sure that you take advantage of us while we're on here. We're on here for another 20 minutes. Ask those questions on the side, and we'll do our best. We'll do our best to answer them. All right, Annette. I know that you've got a lot of wisdom in you, and that you are wanting to share with us something on, like, how can I truly make money doing what I love? What is a possibility that you'd like our viewers to consider?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. One of the things is to truly stop wearing a mask and stop pretending that you're a certain person and trying to fit into what other people are doing, copying what other people are doing. I've done that so many times, copied them. And I'm like, okay, this is working for them, so this is what I'm going to do. Yet it didn't feel authentic, but I didn't know what else to do. And so you have this passion, but then you also have this drive and this need to money, and you want to make it now. And so sometimes there's a disconnect because you don't see how you're going to make the money in your passion, and you know what that's going to look like, how to even do that. So again, you know, it's about taking off the mask, and it's truly about living authentically and understanding, are you the person that is supposed to just go manifest, or are you the person that is going to wait for an outside sign so that you know, okay, I have this beautiful idea. And many times there's people who have these beautiful intuition and these beautiful thoughts, and it's like, okay, I'm just going to go do it without a way to respond or a sign for them to do it, and then they get all frustrated. Or are you someone who is supposed to wait for the invitation, which is me, wait for the invitation to even open up your mouth? Because when you don't have an invitation and you open up your mouth, people are like, who in the hell are you, and why are you telling me this? I didn't even ask. And so, you know, and so it's really about knowing your authentic design, so you know when to speak, when not to speak, when to wait, when not to wait, when to just go do, and then everything just flows. I mean, 99% of the people out there are so frustrated because they're doing what they're told to do and it's not working. and it's not working because they don't understand their blueprint.
Yes. I had an aha right there. Because I'm a smart woman, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so when I see things of how I could help someone, or I can see how somebody else can adjust to get better results, I have mentioned in years past, I used to like mention all these results and these things I'd see, and I couldn't understand why people were saying, who do you think you are?
Yep.
Or what, you're a know-it-all? Or what do you think you know about this? This is my business, and you are just blah, 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 whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed also the experiences I've had were naturally, because for me, I've already talked with Annette, and she's been able to help me define my my human design, my blueprint, right? To help me in my business. And I noticed that in my business, when people came to me, and people just came to me, they knew I had a business. They would come to me, it's like, Adise. So one of the products that we have in the company New Money Mama is a vision board kit. But we didn't always have a vision board kit. It was just a little technique I would teach with my other techniques I would teach my private clients. But I started having people come to me and say, hey, Adise, I know you have a vision board. Why does yours work and mine doesn't? What is that you do differently? And I thought, I shared a couple things with them. And I kid you not, I had a dozen different people come to me in the span of 2 weeks asking me, hey, I know that you know something about vision boards, and I have this, and my vision board doesn't move. I don't get anything off my vision board. And it was, I guess, God knew it took me that many signs, but all these people coming to me and asking me and inviting me for my advice, that's when I was like, oh my gosh, okay, people are asking for this. And instead of me sitting there and having a conversation one-on-one with customers, why don't I just create this vision board that works kit? And so I offered that kit. Immediately that first week, there was like several dozen people who bought it. And it wasn't even that first week. It was like 72 hours. And it was just within my circle of friends. I let them know this kit was there. And just last night I was looking at like, oh my gosh, I almost have 200 of these kits sold. And I haven't had to go out and peddle it. Mm-hmm. It's just people were asking me, and I found a way in my business. And that's what I do with people is I take their ideas and package it and program it in their business so it supports them. I just have it in my business. And when people need it and want it, it's there for them. So I want you guys to know, though, Annette, you've got to connect with Annette because she will find out your design. See, what she described as my design. And Annette and I have similar designs, but Chris's design is different. Even though we're all entrepreneurs, we all have these awesome benefits and programs, right? But you want to find out your design. And we're going to let you know how you can connect with Annette in an upcoming event. Let's see, we've only got a few minutes left. What should we cover here?
Can I add a thought?
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that I've noticed too, like I kind of hearing your experiences remind me of my own. It's funny how you kind of come across the things that people truly want, and especially when it's aligned with your passions. Because I remember, like, I was going through some really hard experiences. I mean, all of us have experiences in our lives that can be turned into money, right? I mean, that's the thing. You don't have to have this massive education. You don't have to get another certification or more letters behind your name, because it just doesn't matter as much as what it means for other people. Like, they want to know how you're actually going to give them real service, really solve problems, do something real. And I remember, from going through hard financial times, people would say, Chris, I would love to hire you, but I just don't have any money. I'd say, oh, that's so not true. Like, I was way worse off than you. I bet you I can find money. And I remember, like, it got me really mad. People kept saying that over and over. And I think the key lesson here for you guys to really write down is that you should be listening to what people say. Mm-hmm. Listen to what they say, because they're telling you how they want to be served. They're telling you what they truly want. And if you don't listen, you say, like, yeah, they keep saying this. They keep saying this. Well, give it to them. Yeah, and that's what I started doing. When I finally in 2009 said, all right, here, let me show you how to find the money. Let me show you how you can pay me, so then I can get paid. That was in my self-interest. Obviously, it's not to work for free, but to actually get paid for my services. When I could show people how to actually, to receive it, how to get that money, people are like, that makes sense. Cool, I'll pay you. And so pretty soon I started creating a whole cash flow process, and by 2009 started to perfect it. And then over the last really almost now what's it been? It's now over 6 years, right? Like now people have saved tens of millions of dollars doing that, and both saving money and making money. And I think that's the real thing that's beautiful, is that not only can you make a good living serving people and solving problems, but at the same time now you're leaving this unique fingerprint, this real impression on this planet. And I think we all have that. I think we're all here for a reason. I think we're all here to leave a fingerprint and an imprint in people's lives that leaves a legacy, that blesses people, that allows people to be edified and lifted up to where they feel that they're better off with you in their life than without you. And I think that's the power of what really this is all about. It's not just about making money. That's just a natural byproduct of how you show up and serve people. And I love, again, like what you said with Annette, with like the whole human design and how you bring that into play, and Adis, what you said as well, and be able to really make that real. I mean, when you start to bring this all together, it's amazing what can really happen.
Okay, that is awesome. And I hope those of you who are listening in, you're picking out those nuggets that resonate with you. Because even though we're all here with entrepreneurial and business ideas, we have businesses. Even if you're somebody who is established in business, you've been in business for years, you may find that there's a little block that's keeping you from creating the results you've been wanting to create. What happens usually is with business owners who haven't really been aligned with their design, or they haven't been clear on their avatar, they haven't been clear on exactly how they serve people, is that, yeah, I've been in business for 7 years, I've been in business for 25 years. And man, it's stressful. Man, I hate it. They just basically turned into their own worst boss, and they're not really sure how to fire themselves. So those of you who are on there, I hope you're taking notes of all the different things that have to do with what triggered you. So like, pay attention not to just what we're saying, but what's being said in your heart or in your mind as you're listening to us. Okay. Since we only have a few minutes left, what I would like to do is share with the viewers how they can connect with us to further define and launch their businesses so that they can get over those humps. And then after that, I hope each of you will be thinking of just like your final tips. What would you say is the next step for these viewers to actually truly make money doing what they enjoy? Now, those of you listening in, I hope you have if you're tuning in through phone, make sure that you record this website. If you are not on a phone, if you're on a desktop or a laptop, go to this website right here. It is yourdivinegenius.com. That's YOUR divine, DIVINE, genius, GENIUS.com. Oh, okay. So Chris just typed it into the chat box. Look in your chat box, yourdivinegenius.com. And that right there is telling you about a live 2-day workshop in which you, with the business idea, you with the established business, can go and find out how to prevent burnout. Have you been wondering, like, how many times a year do you wonder, I'm going to quit, I'm burnt out? Or if you wonder, it feels like I keep hitting my head, I'm doing the same things in marketing, but I'm not getting the same results. Then you want to go to this 2-day workshop where all of us, Adis Boucher, Annette Mees, Chris Miles, will be there training you to find your divine money blueprint and also your profit path. You want to find out your profit path for your business. This will allow you to free up time to serve people who can invest at different levels. And it will also take the guesswork out of dealing with individual types of clients. You won't have to guess anymore what to offer them. Chris, what would you like to share about yourdivinegenius.com?
Yeah, this is something that, I love cash flow. There's no doubt. I mean, I love it. I love what I do. But I'll tell you, like, one thing I feel called to do is really help people do this, which is really understanding who you truly are, like really come to that place. And trust me, I'm still coming to that place. I mean, I'm always learning about myself all the time. But as I come more and more in alignment with who I am and how I operate, the better I do when I show up in people's lives, the more value I create. And it's about really that dollars follow value, like I said before. And so I tell you, like, just be able to really get into this, like, for me personally, like, what has happened for me as I started to discover these things. And I know Annette, I mean, what she's taught is some amazing stuff. I mean, some amazing stuff that helped me as well. And be able to take this and combine all this. And when we're talking about, we're taking your strengths, we're figuring out what key strengths do you have? Like, what are your talents, your gifts? Because people don't pay you for your weaknesses, they pay you for your gifts and your strengths, right? We want that from you. How do you really show up and start developing those strengths and those talents to serve people in a way? How do you channel that? How do you take your passions and combine it? Because guess what? Passions will enhance and make your strengths improve and grow more. How do you take those values, make sure that doesn't suck the passion out of your life? Because I've had things I've done really well, but when they violated my values, I quit. I don't want to do it. How do you take all that, combine it together, the best of who you are and your experiences and everything, and deliver in a way that helps people? And I think that's just so much fun. I mean, this is something that I think will make a massive impact, not just in your business, but in your life in general. This is where you start to show up because you know you're called to do something. You know you have a mission. You have something to do and something to achieve. And this is how we help you do it. Very simple, very concise, very, very get your nose to the grindstone, so to speak. Be able to understand who you are and how you can show up to start making a difference. Stop burning out. Stop doing the things that are killing you or burning you out and just getting you to the point where you'll quit. And when you quit, you take blessings out of people's lives. You stop serving people. You stop showing up powerfully. When you can stand in your power, watch what will happen in your life and the lives around you. Then that's when you leave a legacy. That's when you leave that fingerprint in people's lives.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thanks, Chris. All right, Annette, what are some of the reasons that people should be at this event coming up? Monetize Your Divine Genius.
One of the reasons is because they need to know their human design and they need to know their divine blueprint. Everyone was born with a blueprint on their butt. Like, it's like, here's your blueprint. Here you go. This is what you're supposed to be doing in life, and this is how you're supposed to be doing it. And when you don't know that, you are running into bitterness, to anger, to frustration. You're hitting walls, and you don't know how to get through them. You don't know how to figure it out. And so knowing your divine blueprint and your human design is absolutely critical for you to be able to then be authentic. Another thing that I think that one of the things that I believe that is going to happen here is you're going to learn to trust yourself again. You're going to learn to trust that you have a plan, that there is a purpose, that the universe and God have your back, even though it hasn't looked like it before. Trusting yourself is absolutely one of the biggest dilemmas that I find that my clients have, is they've lost the trust because of what's happened in the past. So we want to bring that trust back in because you do have a purpose. Third, I believe, just from my own experience, that universe and God has a particular pathway for you to have money flow into your life. And you can have as much or as little as you want. It's set. It is there. It is available to you. But until you take it and until you know it, it's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing that you are going to learn at this event.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
And I would add that clarity creates confidence. Yes. Just like what you were saying there. Like, the more clear on who you are and how you can serve people, the faster you will go to achieve it.
Absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, I was going to say one more thing.
Sure.
Once you learn this, see, here's the fascinating thing. Once you learn this, your aura changes. And it's crazy but true because I've experienced it. And as your aura changes, the people who are meant to pay you will be there. They can't see you right now. But when that aura changes, then they can. And then the money is there and it flows. Amazing. So
yes. So here's about so some of you are listening on here and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go out and do it. I'm gonna be able to believe in myself. And that is awesome. How long would that carry you? What type of support are you going to be putting in place so that you continue to actually grow in that confidence, that belief, that drive, that passion, that clarity to actually launch your business to an income that matches your passion? So some of you may also be wondering, it's like, okay, but I'm in the middle of a burnout right now and I'm not sure I can take any more training. Or maybe you're thinking, okay, well, I kind of have an idea, but I don't really have a business, but I've had this idea for a while and I'm not really sure what steps to take next. Then for you, I invite you to go to yourdivinegenius.com and take a look at our 2-day workshop, Monetize Your Divine Genius. Now, this isn't going to be all like woo-woo and no strategy, and isn't going to be all strategy and no mindset. The reason we are connecting is because we all bring these pieces to the table that show people not just how to develop a clarity of who they are and what they offer other people, but will also help you develop your profit path. That is, what programs, what products, in what way can you offer this to your market so they see clearly that you have a solution for them. My profit path, the way that I develop it, is what allows me to log into my email in the morning and I find payments from people buying things I have created, even if I've never met them, never talked to them. If you're interested in creating that kind of income, or if you're interested in creating high quality relationships so you actually get really great clients, then you want to go to the workshop, Monetize Your Divine Genius. We are offering that workshop is $299 for 2 full days of training. And you will leave with your divine money blueprint. You will also leave with your personal profit path so that you can take action immediately in your business and receive new results. And you'll learn your business archetype that tells you in what way does money flow quicker to me. You want to be clear on that. So it's $299 for those 2 days. Obviously, those of you who've already gone onto the website can see that right now there's early bird pricing until December 30th. And that is only 13 days away. So I don't want you to procrastinate that. And then it's like December 31st and you're like, oh, shoot, I forgot to get the ticket at the early bird price. The early bird price, it's only $197. Not $299, but $197 for the same 2-day training. And those of you who register early will also get 2 bonuses. If you go to yourdivinegenius.com, you'll see that one of the bonuses, Chris, will you tell them about your getting others to talk about you? What's that bonus about?
Yeah, so one thing I've learned, when I first started Money Ripples, I had a 2-year non-compete, meaning I couldn't go and do the business the same way and reach out to the same relationships that I had built over years.
Yes.
And so I had to get people to really start to know who I was, break in a brand new market, with all new people, all new situation, almost like I was going to a foreign planet, especially in the women's markets. And that's how I met Adise specifically. And so anyways, that's really what I got really good at doing was how do I get people to talk about me behind my back in a good way? How do I get people to actually promote me or even without me there? So my reputation would precede me and it would give me speaking engagements and everything else. And it got me to create a 6-figure business within the first year, even though I had no market. I had to get rid of all my old clients. I was basically starting from scratch. So it's an awesome way to be able to show you how you can quickly do that.
Awesome. So you will be getting that bonus with your early bird registration. The second bonus you'll be receiving is called Find an Extra $300 this month and every month. This is where you can find the money that is already around you that you may be overlooking. Not only will I be training you on the mind and the eyes to see that money, but also the technical steps that you can start doing right now and receive that money. Now, do I only want you to find an extra $300 this month? No, but it's just the number I picked, Most people, when they go through this program, they find closer to $1,000 and $1,500 a month on their first month. So if you want that recording, it comes with your early bird ticket that's available through December 30th. You want to save over $100 on your tickets by ordering them early. Now, let's see, Annette. Let's wrap up. We've only got 2 minutes. Let's give them the final step. What is your next action step for those of you who are looking to monetize your brilliance?
So the step that I would take is to make sure that you're really on target and paying attention to what you're supposed to be doing. Really focus on what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Don't get sidetracked. Don't get sidetracked by your thoughts. Don't get sidetracked by others telling you that this isn't what you're supposed to be doing or anything else. Stay focused on what it is that you know in your heart, not just your head, because your head is only there for ideas. It's not there for knowing. Knowing and follow that. And again, don't get sidetracked.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, Chris, what do you suggest for the next step for these people?
I love it. I definitely think the next step is just to really like Annette said, I'll just second what she said as well, is that really look within yourself. I mean, really feel it. The next step is really to figure out who you are. When you figure out who you are and how you can serve, that's when things can really come together better. And I think this is why I love this event coming up, because business,
Yes.
Business is individual to each of us.
Yeah.
So each of us need to be doing it differently, not the same cookie cutter model that every other business person has been trying to tell us to do and fit in that mold. How do we do it uniquely to ourselves? So the next step is, hey, you know what? Early bird is $197. Adis said she'll show you how to make at least an extra $300 a month, or find $300 a month. That's already paid for it right there. Ta-da.
Ta-da. Yeah, we like to show you how to make money and solve problems, and we would like you to make money. It's not like just, guys, just get on there and you'll just find exactly that. We actually have the best of intentions and training designed for you, waiting for you. Because I get excited. Okay, people who work with me, they know when I am talking to somebody who has an idea for business, I get excited. And how do I get excited? So some of you guys have seen, I jump up and down like, yes, I love that idea. Let's do it. Let's do it. I get excited when other people are living their passions. That is my biggest reward. I get such a high from watching people living their passion, being excited about their lives. Because life is awesome. Life is awesome. It's just learning to align with the life that we desire, not the life that other people's designed for us. So as far as the next few steps, for those of you who are on the call, we're going to wrap up with this. Remember, if you are in business or you have an idea for income generation, the first thing I suggest is you define the problem you solve. It's like, I have this idea. What problem does it solve? Is it a problem of boredom? Is it a problem in organization? Is it a problem of weight loss? What is it? Define the problem. And the second thing is define who you're solving that problem for. Is it for moms of newborns? Is it for men facing retirement? Is it for couples who want to have more adventure in their life? What is it? The third one is inventory your skills and your resources. So what money do you have? What friends do you know? What knowledge do you have? What excitement and gifts and talents are you already aware of? Inventory those. And the fourth one is be authentic. So it is so easy to go out in the world and think, oh, well, this is what a business person behaves like. This is what a business person dresses like. This is how they talk. And you know what? That's like so full of crap, and it's so boring. I go to networking events, and I can tell the ones who are acting out the part of a business owner. And it doesn't do them any good, because what do? You go home, you look like the business owner, but you go home and you're like, oh, man, it was a hard day. I didn't have the results I wanted. Why act that part? Life is not, seriously, it's the business roboto, So honestly, if you can be comfortable with who you are, people will pay for who you are. Because there are other people who can do the same thing that you can do, right? So how do you distinguish yourself? You distinguish yourself by your personality, how you connect with people. Some people will love you and some people will love somebody else just because they jive with them differently. But how are the ones who are going to love working with you jive with you if they can't even see you, if you're wearing a mask, right? So those are the 4 things that I would suggest for you to take action steps right now in your business. And then, of course, the 5th one that we can all agree on is get registered for Monetize Your Divine Genius. That 2-day workshop is going to blow your mind. And it's going to expand your wallet. So you want to make sure you get there. Well, I think we're going to wrap that up. We want to honor your time. Thank you so much for joining us today on this new platform. We're really excited. And finally, can I truly make money doing what I love? Well, yes, you can. Well, that's it for today. This is Adis Boucher, the New Money Mama, reminding you that life is rich and so are you. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.